Hi, Dr. Bill here with another one of our video posts. So welcome to this edition. It's going to be a series based on the experience of a surgeon, Dr. Bernie Siegel, Siegel, and he wrote a number of books, and the one which I've had on my shelf for quite some time is Love, Medicine and Miracles. And even though it's an oldie, it's a goodie, and like many of the books on my shelves, they sit there for some time, and then when the time's ready, they say, pick me, and I read them. And for this particular book, I really identified with it a lot because it certainly confirmed a lot of the things that I'd experienced in my practice, and also the things that actually I believed in. So I'm going to cover Dr. Siegel's experiences that he's had over a number of video blogs and video posts, and this, of course, is number one. Now, Dr. Siegel was a surgeon majoring in pediatrics for children and cancer oncology with surgery, and he wasn't happy with the results that he was getting, wasn't satisfied. He felt he wanted to do more for his patients, and so he began to do some research to find out what other people were doing. He even considered giving it up because he was, I guess, disillusioned with what he was doing. He wanted to do more. So he decided he would probably be able to do more if he stayed where he was and just add other things to what he was already doing. So he went to a workshop that was conducted by a medical doctor, an oncologist, and that was in 1978. And the author of this book, Getting Well Again, is Dr. O. Kyle Somerton and two others which are on the book. And I've had that book on my shelf. As you can see, it's quite well worn. And Dr. Siegel went to this workshop with this oncologist medical doctor who was teaching how to help patients with visual imagery, particularly patients with cancer. And Dr. Simonton was actually getting quite good results for patients that, at the time, for patients that were terminal, and these were going to die. He was getting a 19% success rate, and 22% were showing improvement. And of course, that's just the statistics at the time. So for terminally ill, that's about 40% of the people were responding to visual imagery. Now, that's maybe not for everybody, but this caught Dr. Siegel's attention, and he began his journey there and did other research and found out what other people were doing in the field. So he decided he would conduct a class for his patients and to help them add other things into the therapy that he was providing, or the surgery that he was providing. And he was a bit concerned that he was going to get overwhelmed because he sent out information in those days, because that was at the 1980s approximately, and he thought he'd become overwhelmed with the response, and he was a bit concerned that he wouldn't have enough room to fit them all in. Well, to his surprise, only 12 people turned up, and he goes on later in the book to tell us that, in his view, that when you put patients into different categories, he believed that approximately 15 to 20% of the people, or patients, people are unwell, do not really want to get well, whether consciously or subconsciously. So they have I guess you could say, a death wish. They're quite, they want to give up, they're going to die. About 60 to 70% of patients just want somebody else to do it for them. And that's often why medical doctors are placed in the position they're in, because the patient just wants a quick fix. In fact, he goes on to say that when he gave his patients the offer of surgery or a change in lifestyle, most of them would pick surgery because it was easier. Quite interesting. And then the other 15 to 20% of patients are the ones that are fighters, the ones that really want to get well and will take responsibility for their own health or their own condition. And that, to me, that's very profound. Now, you could be in the other two categories and change once you were made aware that that's where you are at. So his book goes on to describe all the things that he put together in his program or his protocol that he used to help his patients that he was working with, where some would have surgery and some wouldn't. So he didn't become, totally alternative and give everything away. He was combining what he thought was the best of everything. And he firmly believed that whatever the patient had faith in was what they should do, whether it was alternative or it was normal medical methods, because he found that that's what would work best for them. So I've included a transcript, some text, which is an excerpt or some excerpts that I've put together from his book, which is going to accompany this video, so you can actually read that for yourself. And of course, I would naturally encourage you to read the book, Love, Medicine and Miracles by Dr. Bernie Siegel. He is online. He's got quite a lot of videos on YouTube that you can actually watch. You can just, even though you type in his name, you still got to do a little bit of research to actually to find the other stuff. So you put in his name, you get the main videos, then down the right-hand side, you'll see all the other different options that you have. So there's some very good information there for you. Whether you are sick or not sick, it doesn't matter, because I believe his ideas are very powerful to help us either get well or stay well. So the other thing that I just wanted to point out was that I also read this other book called Imagery and Healing. And interestingly, the two books, and this one is actually by a researcher too, who puts a lot of the research behind the opinion. And when you read it and you see the research, it convinces you that this stuff really works. So believing something is very important. And when you read Bernie Siegel's experiences that he had with his patients, the research that he lists, and also the other books that I've mentioned, it really convinces you that these things really do have a strong place. So this is Dr. Bill signing off, and I look forward to seeing you on Series 2.